Hello Internet, it's me Josh, the aging gamer. So, I'm a pretty big fan of the Metroid series, and so, naturally, I'm really excited for the upcoming game, Metroid Dread for the Nintendo Switch. This is the 5th entry in the 2D series of Metroid games. Metroid 4, or Metroid Fusion, came out in early 2002, nearly 2 decades ago. While we have seen Metroid games come out between then and now, the 2D Metroidvania style games are my favorite. Metroid Dread is being developed by the same people that did the Metroid 2 remake, Samus Returns, which I honestly wasn't a big fan of. I felt it was a bit too repetitive, and I wasn't a big fan of counterattacking everything. With that said, I still got high hopes for this new title. It looks pretty good. Metroid overall is just a fantastic series, and it makes me really happy to see that Nintendo's given this series some love. And with all this hype, and as well as the series celebrating its 35th anniversary this year, I'm in the mood for some alien blasting action! The first game came out in 1986 on the Famicom and the NES. It was really different from anything else at the time. Instead of just going from the beginning of a level to the end of one, you're essentially in one gigantic level, having to explore and get power-ups to help you get through. The game is notable for being one of the first, but not the first, of games to have a female lead. It's also notable for being the pioneer of the Metroidvania genre of games. And not only that, but it kinda pioneered speedrunning. This game has multiple endings depending on how quick you beat it, with the prize being the lead, Samus, being less clothed from a quicker finish time. This is something that would continue in a majority of the games. Is Samus a strong female lead, or sexualized eye candy? The answer is yes. But that's not the game I want to review. I actually didn't grow up playing the NES Metroid game. I didn't play it till way later, so I don't really have that attachment like a lot of the gamers that did grow up with it do. One of my earlier experiences with the Metroid series was actually a remake of the original game for the Gameboy Advance, and that's the game I want to review. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Metroid Zero Mission. Metroid Zero Mission released on the Game Boy Advance in early 2004 and was directed by Yoshio Sakamoto, who is actually the only one who worked on this remake and the original game. Apparently, after development on Metroid Fusion was finished, which came out 2 years prior, the team wanted to work on a Super Metroid remake, but Sakamoto wanted to do a retelling on Metroid's first story. Which I think was the right choice, not just because the original Metroid had so much room for improvement, but Super Metroid? It's fantastic the way it is. They don't need to remake that. Leave it alone! So as far as the storytelling goes, there isn't much dialogue in-game, just a few lines at the beginning and a few empty cutscenes. But the story goes that in the year 20X5, which at this point could be somewhere within the next 80 years, the evil space pirates, led by Mother Brain, have stolen Metroids, which are these powerful, soul-sucking aliens. Mother Brain plans on turning the Metroids into deadly biological weapons. The Galactic Federation are unsuccessful at stopping the pirates, so they send top-notch bounty hunter Samus Aran to stop them. We see Samus land on planet Zebes, or Zebeth depending on what game you're playing, where the space pirates are at, and she plans on taking them out. Planet Zebes also happens to be the planet Samus was raised on as a child, which we'll see a few flashback snippets here and there within the game. Samus's backstory was still pretty mysterious up to this point, and while they don't touch upon it in this game, I think it's important to note that when Samus was a young child, the evil space pirate Ridley killed Samus's parents, which led to her getting adopted by a tribe of bird people called Chozos, and after years of training, they present her with the power suit. More stuff happens after that, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, when we start the game, we see Samus in the weakest form of her power suit. The only thing she can really do is shoot. You'll almost immediately get your first power-up, the ability to use the Morph Ball technique. It allows her to transform into a ball to get through passages she apparently just can't crawl through. As you explore different parts of Zebes, you'll find old Chozo statues that will guide you where you need to go. You'll find these markings on your map, and luckily you won't often find yourself lost. I think this is a nice feature because it allows us as much time as we need to explore without losing track of what our main objective is. Sometimes you'll even find Chozo statues that have upgrades for your power suit, allowing you to access power-ups like long shots, bombs, and the power grip. You'll also find along your way missiles. They're hidden everywhere, and for every little missile icon you find, it raises your missile count by 5. Missiles are great at taking out stronger enemies and bosses, and they're necessary to open red doors. So yeah, exploration is the name of the game. If you find a spot that looks like there's something hidden but you can't quite get to it, it's probably exactly that. Something hidden you can't quite get to. As you get more power-ups, you'll be able to backtrack and get to those secrets later. In Metroid games, there's a lot of backtracking. It's not necessary that you get every single missile upgrade and health upgrade, but man, is it going to make things easier in the long run. So as Samus explores planet Zebes, upgrading her suit along the way, she'll fight off a few monsters that are roaming inside. The first boss you'll encounter is lamely called the Charge Beam Beast. It'll strike at you, but if you see an opening, shoot that son of a bitch in the eye. After 3 hits, it dies, and it gives you the Charge Beam upgrade. You'll also come across an acid worm. It launches itself at Samus, but zip across the room on a glider and shoot its body with missiles to obliterate it. Shortly after this, you'll come across the evil Kraid. This guy is huge! A lot bigger than his NES counterpart, and he's deadly. Not a whole lot is known about Kraid, other than the fact that he's one of the higher-ranking members of the Space Pirates and one of Mother Brain's top guys. As we fight him, we'll quickly find out he's immune to all your attacks, as he seems to have invulnerable skin. The only way to hurt him is by hitting him in the face with a missile or a charge shot that causes him to open his mouth where you can blast his insides. This fight can get tricky though, as you only have a small platform to work off of, and he'll also swipe and shoot his claws at you. If you fall off the platform, he'll shoot those spiky things from his belly. Climb up them and shoot him some more. After enough hits, he's taken down. And it also unlocks half of the boss door that leads to Mother Brain's whereabouts. I don't know why, but I really like the villain Kraid. He doesn't make too many appearances throughout the series, so I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe he came back as like Mecha Kraid or something like that in Metroid Dread. I mean, if Ridley can come back a million times, why can't Kraid? Back to action. We see that Ridley is making his way to Zebes. We continue to explore, getting upgrades along the way, including the screw attack, ice beams, and the Varia suit that allows Samus to survive in hotter temperatures. As we continue, we'll fight a few more bosses, including this giant alien bug. You fight it in its larval form, and then once again after its metamorphosis. We continue exploring when all of a sudden, oh shit, it's Ridley! Ridley shoots at Samus with fireballs and strikes with his tail. You're going to want to keep shooting at him. By this point in the game, without really going too far out of my way, I got a lot of missiles. If I spam those missiles at him, he dies rather quickly. He actually comes off as one of the easier bosses to me because there's no strategy other than just keep hitting him. It's kind of pathetic, especially when you consider the beef between these two characters. So, he dies, I think, and the other side of that boss door becomes unlocked. That's our next target. Let's head that way. And once we do, we're real close to Mother Brain and we finally see those goddamn Metroids. You'll go room to room destroying all the Metroids in each area before continuing. Hit them with the freeze blast and then shoot them with some missiles. Once we destroy them all, we'll find Mother Brain. So before we even get into this fight, I'm sure some people are wondering, what the hell is Mother Brain exactly? So going back to that Chozo race that raised Samus, they're a highly advanced civilization that is really great with technology. Of course, Samus's power suit is one of their greatest creations, but Mother Brain was actually a super AI computer created by them too. She seems to know all and is linked to all the technological and security functions throughout Zebes, and while I couldn't find a confirmation anywhere, she might be a telepath too. Samus met Mother Brain when she was a child, so they've known each other for quite some time. When Samus got older and left planet Zebes to go do her bounty hunter stuff, space pirates attacked Zebes. Mother Brain, suffering from a bad case of superiority complex, turned against her creators and with all her intellectual prowess, became one of the leaders of the space pirates. She's turned rogue and seemingly wants to take over the whole galaxy. Well, now it's time to kill this bitch. You are attacked by everything around you. You got 2 small platforms to jump around that are above acid, and you have to avoid all the lasers and shit flying around you. Keep shooting at Mother Brain's control capsule to expose her. Now she'll shoot giant beams at you. Dodge and shoot missiles into her eye, and you'll destroy her. Mother Brain just activated its self-destruct sequence. Let's get the hell out of here! Now in the original game, this is where it ended, but here Samus gets attacked by space pirates and ends up crashing back on Zebes. Samus is now without her power suit and only armed with a weak pistol. Can Samus and that ass escape? So this right here is where I feel the game takes a rather odd turn. This whole section feels rather tacked on, but that's probably because it was. You continue to play as Suitless Samus, or Zero Suit Samus as Nintendo calls it, and now we have to board the space pirate mothership and use one of their smaller ships to escape. What's odd about all of this is that without her suit, Samus has to sneak around. Tensions are high as we're on guard and hoping we're not seen by space pirates, and being careful not to trip any alarms. All this sneaking around though, it feels more like Metal Gear. Personally, I feel this whole section of the game just kinda ruins the flow of everything. All the exploring aspects with our cool suit upgrades gets put on hold for a forced extra that's almost a different gaming genre. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate the Zero Suit Samus section of this game. I think it's a neat idea, but I think it's done in the wrong kind of way. Anyway, we eventually find ourselves in some Chozo ruins where we go through some kind of trial. Keep shooting the orb when it doesn't have Samus's image in it to eventually get your fully upgraded power suit. Now you'll be a total badass. Being able to do the space jump technique along with the screw attack, you'll feel indestructible. Haha! Now let's get out of here. We'll make our way to the top of the Space Pirates mothership where we have our last boss fight against Mecha Ridley. So Mecha Ridley is just a robot Ridley has made in his likeness. It's incomplete though, as it can't jump around or fly. Instead, it's able to swipe at you, shoot missiles from its back, shoot fireballs from its mouth, and shoot lasers from its eyes. Jesus Christ! After it swipes at you, shoot missiles at the red orb on its chest, and will eventually destroy him. Another self-destruct countdown? Why not? Make your way out and we'll escape in one of those sperm-looking ships and the game is complete. So after completing the game, you unlock a picture of Samus, varying depending on how fast you beat the game and how many items you collected. You also unlock the original NES Metroid game, and you can even unlock hard mode. Also, if you go back to your save file, the map now displays how many hidden items there are in each section of the game's world, making it a lot easier to 100% the game. And that's Metroid Zero Mission. So, is it good? Is it bad? Well, let's just say if you've never played a Metroid game before, this is the best place to start. I'm not sure if I would say Zero Mission is my favorite Metroid game, because honestly, I love it as much as I love Metroid Fusion and Super Metroid, but for different reasons. Zero Mission was one of the earliest Metroid games I played, and it's a great retelling of Samus's first adventure, and there's so many improvements here over the original. It got rid of the password system, and we actually got save points. We got maps added as well, and visually, this game looks so much better, and all the locations have great backgrounds, not to mention the bosses look terrifying, in a good way, and the small cutscenes add just the right amount of tension. The soundtrack is killer too, with reworked music from the first game as well as some new tracks. It's great, and overall the game is just fun. I love exploring this world and figuring out new ways to use my new suit upgrades when I get them. With each upgrade you get, it feels like you can just accomplish so much more. I love it, but does the game have flaws? Well, yeah. First off, this game is short. Like, I know Metroid games encourage speedrunning, but a typical run through the game doesn't feel very long. Capturing the footage I used for this video, I beat this game in just over 2 hours, and while I have played this game many times before, that's also with me farting around a bit. I can't imagine how much shorter this game would be if they didn't add that Zero Suit Samus section. Speaking of which, that's another problem I got with this game. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Zero Suit Samus section in this kind of way. I would have preferred if Nintendo would have fleshed out the game with more story elements and bosses prior to the big fight with Mother Brain instead. I think Zero Suit Samus should have played akin to her NES counterpart. Say you start a new game, but you play as Zero Suit Samus, who could still get upgrades like missiles and ice beams and all that, but it comes from either an arm cannon or a different kind of pistol. Since she doesn't have the suit, maybe she would take more damage than usual, and enemies would take more hits to hurt. This could be the game's hard mode. It would give you the same game with a harder difficulty while also staying true to the original game. I think that would have been great. But other than those issues, Metroid Zero Mission is a game I absolutely recommend. It's a bit on the shorter side, and I'd have to say it's one of the easier games too, even on the normal difficulty. If you're not into the Metroid series and looking for a good starting point, I think this game would be the best. Plus, the story is the beginning of the series, so you wouldn't have to worry about the plot going over your head. It's overall a really fun game. But those are just my opinions. What do you guys think? What do you think of Zero Mission? Love it? Hate it? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, go ahead and do that too. I appreciate that. And like always, I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.